Here we go. All right. Let's get her going here now. Let's get her going here. Vols Talk Live after the Bama defeat. Now, 702, let's see, 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. I was a little late getting to the Vols Talk show after the Bama defeat because I spent a little while in the hospital after that game because, man, that was so disappointing when Guantanamo was down there on the 1 foot line and he decides to call his own number when the 5-hole was wide open with the fullback and the tailback. What do? We try to hold the ball over the goal. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it in my whole life. And that really just kind of ruined me for quite a while. So I figured I'd jump in here on a Thursday night with a Vols Talk Live show. 423-702-6894. 423-702-6894 on the Vols Talk Live call-in show. Or you can call my cell phone if you know it. Basically, what can I say about that Bama game? We'll go over the stats in just a minute. I did watch the game live as it was happening from the comforts of my own home. I noticed, excuse me, the first series there, Bama, we started out with the ball and we couldn't do nothing. And then Bama gets the ball after a short kick. They threw it in right on down there and got him a touchdown. I'm thinking, oh, no, here we go. And then the next time we get the ball, something other happened, and we had another short kick, and they were in business down there on our 30-yard line again or something like that. And they got it down there in the red zone pretty good. And it looked like it was going to go up 14-0, and Tua throws a crazy interception down there that our guy returns, I don't know, halfway down the field. They really pumped our guys up. And, then our quarterback gets in there, Maurer gets in there and drives them right on down there. And he, I think he ran the ball in. I forgot how it went down. I think he ran the ball in on quarterback sneak and got a touchdown. Vols 7, Bama 7 there in the first quarter, which, was a really, really good sign, I thought. Then the next thing you know, you got Tua going out of the game and Maurer going out of the game. So both starting quarterbacks go out of the game. And when that happened, I really feel like that was advantage Vols, And let's see here if I've got to dive into the stats on it just a little bit. Let's see here. At halftime, let's see what it was. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. 423-702-6894. Call my cell. Let's see if I can dial into the stats here real quick. All right, it was 21-10 at halftime. Alabama had us 14-7 at the end of the first quarter, and they beat us 7-3 in the second quarter. So they beat us 14-7 in the first quarter, 7-3 in the second quarter, 21-10 at the break. Let's see, Alabama. Tua racked up the stats like this: 11 out of 12 for 155 yards and a pick, and he did all that pretty much in part of the first quarter. It seemed like he got injured and left the game. Jones came in there. He was 6 out of 11 for 72 yards, so really lackluster. And we shut down the running game pretty good. So, I mean, Najee Harris had 105 yards rushing, and Robinson had 40. The other Robinson had 6. So, I think we throttled them pretty good. In the second half of the game, they beat us 7-3 in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter they beat us 7-0. So they pretty much beat us every single quarter we were out there. But we did, the way the game was ebbing and flowing, we did have a drive I think it was early in the late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, where we ran the ball on them really effectively and drove that ball all the way down their throat and got down there in the red zone. On the third down play from about the 3-yard line, we handed off to the tailback running out here to the left. We pulled the guard out, Trey Smith, and he drove it in there pretty good to about the 1-foot line. And the call on fourth down was going to be the exact same play. They, in fact, pulled the guard, and it was supposed to be a handoff to the tailback down there going to the same 5-hole area. They blew out the end. I mean, they crashed down on the other guys, and, I mean, it was wide open. I could have easily scored, and I would have done a touchdown dance and everything else. So you got Guantanamo calls his own number. He's got two linebackers staring him in the face in both A gaps, and Guantanamo takes the snap and tries to stick the ball out like this. About the time he got popped in the chest and that ball went up in the air, and next thing you know, Alabama guy takes the thing 105 yards for a touchdown, and that was the end of the story. Now, every Vol fan was thoroughly disgusted with that set of events, but the truth of the matter is we're kind of used to it, and realistically, nobody that I've talked to was surprised by it at all. I think most people I talked to were happy that we were in the game, and we had a real good chance to win that game. If we could have kept our number one quarterback in the game, I think we very easily could have won that game. We run the football better than Alabama did. Pretty much, we could control the line of scrimmage on them guys pretty good. 423-702-6894, 423-702-6894, Vols Talk Live, post-Bama defeat show. I know it's a little late, and most people maybe even forgot about this game already, and that's okay. But you can call in and talk about it if you want to. I did a little special Thursday night session because I really was, it was a late game Saturday night, and I got busy and things. And the next thing you know, it's like, okay, Thursday night might be a good time to do this. Maybe not, but we never know. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. Interesting things about this game. Tua got a twisted ankle and went out. And then our guy, Maurer, falls back, and he's falling back there somehow or another, and he gets blocked funny and pushed backward. And then you've got our own guy, offensive lineman, hits him in the back of the head with his knee as he's falling backwards. So it's a bam kind of situation. And next thing you know, Maurer's got another concussion, so he's out. So that's really 2 starts, 2 concussions. That's really it's a little troublesome, worrisome for the guy. I mean, obviously, it's probably never happened to him before in his life, and I think a lot of it was pretty much bad luck. But, it'll be interesting to see if he recovers enough to play in this game we got coming up with South Carolina, which is the most pivotal game of the season. Obviously, if we can win the game, we got a chance to run the table coming in. If we lose the game, then you really kind of wonder, if we can beat anybody else coming home. Kentucky doesn't look like they've got much offense. Vanderbilt beat Missouri, which I think is a good sign because I thought Missouri was a lot stronger than that. So, I mean, we can win the rest of them if we can just win this daggum South Carolina game. And, of course, South Carolina's not very good. I mean, they're well coached. They got some good ball players, but, they're not extremely good. I don't look for them to win the game against the Vols on Saturday. Of course, we'll see what my predictor puts in play for tomorrow when I go through that system. We got 423 702 6894. 423 702 6894 on the call-in show, or you can call my cell phone if you know it. Just recapping the Bama game. The Vols got the football to start the game. I don't know exactly how that happened. I don't know if we won the toss, like to take the ball, which I doubt. Chances are Bama won the toss and deferred or whatever. It decided to play defense to begin with, which is a good strategy. And, Tar Heels beat South Carolina, so that tells you something about the situation. Where everybody knows North Carolina Tar Heels is not very good. Of course, they almost beat Clemson, too. That's, something to think about. But anyway, we got the ball. We came out. We did nothing on 3 downs and out. Kicked the ball to Bama. They, right down the field like it's nothing. They get the touchdown. 7-0 Bama. You get it to us again. We get out there and don't do too much. Kick the ball, whatever we did. Oh, it was an interception. I think it's an interception. Threw a pass to Juwan Jennings, who caught the ball. It was a quick laser beam pass on a slant. He kind of juggled it, popped it just one time, and a Bama guy intercepted it. I think that's how it went down. And then Bama gets down there in the red zone pretty quick, and then the next thing you know, they actually, Tua throws an interception, an absolutely no-brainer, completely unnecessary interception, and the Vols defensive back, I think it's Nigel Warrior, picked it off. Runs it back 50-some-odd yards, and man, we're in business. The whole sideline lit up. Everybody's pumped up. We got in the game with our offense, drove it down there inside the red zone, and they were kind of tough giving up that touchdown, but I think Maurer got it on a sneak down there from the 1-foot line or something. So, really, we had a ball game. We had a ball game. They wound up beating us. They beat us 14-7 in the first quarter. They beat us 7-3 in the second quarter. They beat us 7-3 in the third quarter and beat us 7-0 in the fourth quarter. So we lost all 4 quarters. Hey, man, don't be talking about crowd size. We don't care about crowd size. We're here to disseminate information. And this is a source of information. And you can call and provide your opinions on it at 423-702-6894 or 423-702-6894. I do believe that in this game we had an extremely good opportunity. We wound up in the second half of that game, I think down 28-13. Sounds about right. 28-13. We drove the football down there and got it inside the 10-yard line and drove it down there hard, and on third down ran the tailback off the left side, got it down to the 1 foot line, and the coach, I'm pretty sure, called the exact same play because we pulled the guard out there and wiped out the end. He was trying to run him through the 5-hole. And I am amazed. Thanks, Bill. I am amazed that Guantanamo calls his own number on 4th and a foot. I really don't exactly understand how that happened. The play was wide open to the left. We pulled the guard out, blew out the end. It was wide open to go in for a touchdown. I could have easily scored the touchdown myself. You know, if I'd have been quarterbacking, I'd have handed the ball off like I was supposed to, too. We'd have got it that way. So, but I don't think I got any eligibility left. So anyway, then Guantanamo takes the snap, sticks the ball up over the goal line. It tries to, and he's getting smashed in the chest by, linebacker who is just in between there, our center and guard and A-gap. Popped the ball up in the air. Bama takes the fumble and returns the fumble recovery from out of the end zone like 105 yards for a touchdown. And I mean, that just sealed it. That was just, goodbye Tennessee Vols. We pretty much were done. And I mean, hey, we gave them a fight. We were in it for a minute. But it didn't last no longer than that. 423-702-6894. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show, or you can call my cell if you know that number. From what I could tell about this game, it looked to me like our guys, were a little bit more motivated, and we had some really good action up there in the line. Our receivers, I thought, played a good game, and the running backs played fantastic. Tim Jordan has really picked his game up in the last couple of weeks. They sat him down there, bumped him down to third place there back earlier in the season because he kept bouncing out to the wrong hole instead of going where he was told to go. And then he decided, hey, I'm going to run this thing the way they told me to. And, I mean, he's been awesome ever since. In this game, I think Tim Jordan rushed for, close to 100 yards or something like that. Matter of fact, I'm going to look that up and see. Let's see. Tennessee rushing. 94 yards on 17 carries for Tim Jordan. So, I mean, he's turned into the number one running back. And that goes to show you that, people can be coached up a little bit and, make a decision in their own mind, hey, I'm going to do better. I mean, Tim Jordan's a prime example of that. He was bumped down to number 3 there a couple weeks back, and he fought his way back up the depth chart. And I would say he'd probably be the starter at this point. Ty Chandler only did 23 yards on 4 carries, so he didn't get a lot of action. They gave the ball to Gray. So we really didn't run enough plays, I don't think. We didn't run the ball as many times as I think we could have or should have. Juwan Jennings, 6 catches for 66 yards. Other than that, it was kind of weak on the passing game, and I think that might have been the difference in the overall game. We really when the quarterback goes out, I mean, it's, it deflates everybody's mentality just a little bit because it's like, oh no, here comes Guantanamo. He actually came in and played pretty good, I got to admit. He was 7 out of 16, not so hot, I don't guess, 55 yards. I thought it was a little better than that. But he made some key throws. I thought, kept moving and changed a few times. And we also, the Phantom Holy calls. Golly, I'm telling you right now. Yeah, I mean, there were some calls in this game. There was more what I call referee interjecting themselves into the game than you should see. I think when Taylor, hammered that quarterback back there and was laying on top of him, as the play was unfolding downfield or whatever, I think it was incomplete. It would have been a third down, not converted for Bama. And then he kind of, uses the quarterback to get himself up off the ground, which, even though he did it, it didn't look like it was overly blatant. I mean, it was just a little something. And they throw a flag on that one. And I mean, that kind of blew my mind. I think the dude calling the game also had his mind blown by that. He's like, this is really not what we need in the game of football. It was really unnecessary call. But, I mean, it was happening all night. Bama refs, that's how they are. And, the worst part is they literally stopped the game on us down there when we're in the red zone, and we shifted into a quick wildcat on them, going to snap the ball to Jennings, and the ref comes in there, stood right behind the center, and stopped the entire football game while Alabama, got their signals together and changed their defense. I mean, to me, I have yet to have an explanation of exactly what had transpired there, because to me, that was one of the most blatant, home cooking situations I'd ever seen. And I mean, the whole game went like that until it was out of hand. Of course, then it don't matter, right? 423-702-6894. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. We are broadcasting live from around the world. I did not have the opportunity to do a Vols call-in show last Saturday night after the game because it was so late, and I had to get up early and go to work. And, so, I mean, there's no way I could have done it. And at the same time, I thought, okay, let's give it a day or two to simmer. Maybe some people come up with some new ideas on what they think transpired down there. 423-702-6894. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. I just wanted to get a quick Bama call-in show in so that everybody would have, my kind of understanding of the game and exactly what had transpired throughout the game. A lot of times y'all don't notice these things that I noticed. But, hey, what can we say? We had a really, really good chance in this game. In the third quarter of this game or whenever it was, we had that drive down there. It was 28-13. We get her down there to the 1 foot line, and Guantanamo calls his own number. When he did that, that was kind of the end of it. And I got to admit, none of us were surprised. I don't think any Vols fan was surprised at what had transpired. Now, when he come running off the field over there, he need a great putter. I got putters, man. We got putters. Go on in here and get them. When we saw that, Guantanamo runs off the field and he goes over there where Jeremy Pruitt's already about 10 yards out on the field yelling and screaming at him. I would love to have a transcript of exactly what he told him. And I would love to know exactly what happened. But as far as I know, they've downplayed all that. If y'all know, call in and tell us 423-702-6894, 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. I would be interested to know exactly what Jeremy Pruitt told him and exactly what the situation was. It looked to me like they had called a play to the tailback off the left-hand side, and it looked to me like Guantanamo decided he was going to be the hero. He took the ball and tried to stick it out up over the touchdown, and guess what? It didn't work, and it went the other way, 105 yards for a touchdown. So that's a bad situation, and I really believe, even though I think the guy's a nice kid, from what I understand, he's got a great attitude. From what I understand, he works extremely hard in practice and stuff like that. I would have to go down the depth chart. I mean, Tennessee's got 8 quarterbacks, I think, on the team. And I don't know exactly why all of them can't play or whatever, is going on there. But I think I'd have to get somebody else in. That's just me. I just can't trust the guy with the situation anymore. He just hasn't proved to me that he can be trustworthy in those situations. He's made some good plays, but he's made some bonehead plays. He's never had a really flawless game. I do remember down at Auburn last year was probably the best game he ever had. He probably threw for 240 down there in that game, and he probably didn't have a pick. I'm just guessing. That was probably his best game as a starter. Ain't no 300-yard game, no 4 or 5 touchdown game, nothing like that. So, and I think we got the guys out there to throw it to that could do that kind of stuff. 423-702-6894, 423-702-6894 on the call-in show, or you can call my cell phone. Basically, to recap, Bama, they were too much for us, and even though we fought them hard and we were in the game, for a while, Guantanamo fumbles down there on the 1-foot line, and that was the end of the game pretty much for all intents and purposes. And, it's a shame that we didn't do better than that. I think we could have done better than that. And I think Bama was very beatable, and they're not the most impressive team in the world, even though Tua is mighty good. I just don't know if that one guy can do it. I think Bama's going to have some problems with LSU, especially. Matter of fact, I don't see Bama winning that game. I think LSU's going to win that game. I think they even play at LSU. So that's going to be, that's going to put LSU in the driver's seat for the West. And Tennessee with now what? We got beat by Georgia. We got beat by Florida. We got beat by Alabama. So we got 3 losses. I don't think we got a chance. Let's see. So, yeah, Craig, I wonder if Maurer's going to be out this week because of back-to-back concussions in games. And, Shrout, I'd say, hey, man, give him a shot. I mean, we got 4 or 5 other quarterbacks on the team. It's Kasim Hill or somebody like that. I know he transferred from Maryland. Maybe he's got to sit out a year. But I guess he's working with the LSU is at Bama. I don't know about that. Let me look and see. I think LSU hosts Bama for that game. Let's see. I'm looking up the Bama football schedule. Let's see. LSU. Yeah, no, it's at Alabama. Okay. So that's a 3:30 game on November the 9th. So that's a couple of weeks off for that magnificent showdown game at Alabama. LSU is going to visit Alabama. And again, maybe the refs can win that one for them too. I don't know. 423-702-6894. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show, or you can call myself if you want to. Basically, recapping the game, we fought them hard. We got our quarterback hurt again. Tua went out, and I think that was an extremely good situation for the Tennessee Vols. I mean, you could tell when they go to the next guy there, I'm not saying he ain't good. He's probably going to be okay. But you could tell we had a little energy there, and we started bringing the pressure on him, and he wasn't quite ready for it. Now, eventually, I think he made some throws and did some okay things, but he made some bad throws coming out. When he first got in the game, he was really awful. And, the Vols had the upper hand there for a minute. And, we wound up having a chance at 28-13, driving the ball down the field on a big, long drive. We get him down in the red zone. They start hammering the ball. They called the correct play on third down, and it was a pulling big Trey Smith out there to kick out the end and running out there to the 5-hole and with the tailback and on the lead play, and we got her down there to the 1-foot line, and the exact same play was called when Guantanamo, in his infinite wisdom, decided that what he was going to do. I mean, maybe he did this back when he was in high school or something. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I've seen Tom Brady run the quarterback sneak, and I have never in my life seen anything like what Guantanamo tried. Tom Brady, you watch him run a quarterback sneak, sometimes he'll get 4 or 5 yards. I mean, the way those guys run it, I mean, he gets down there low and drives that thing forward, and, I mean, he knows how to do it. Yeah, I think Coach Pruitt's doing a pretty good job. I do blame Coach Pruitt for a lot of these problems because he is, after all, the coach. But when you hear him talk, most of the time he talks about a lot of real fundamentally sound kind of things in the game of football. He's got an awareness of what really needs to be happening. Yeah, you're asking what's going on with JG. That's a question. I really don't know the answer to that thing. Let's do a quick Google search on him and see if there's an update. I haven't watched any of the messages from the coach this week. See if there's an update somewhere in here. So apparently Jeremy Pruitt's talking about the Tennessee fans booing and stuff. I don't think that's a good idea to boo the kid. I mean, like I said, he's made some mistakes, and he's shown that the neurons are not firing fast enough. I think that's the only problem with him. He does make some really good-looking throws at times, especially on third down, especially when he needs 15, 18 yards. I've seen him make some good throws. He don't throw the ball deep very good at all, I don't think. And, of course, I don't like the short passing game. I know a lot of guys are running that stuff. They throw it out there to the flanker and whatnot on the screens and stuff. And I guess it's okay. You spread them out and you put 3 guys out there and throw it to the back dude. And, you got sometimes 3-on-3 out there, which is not a bad way to play, but you got to make the catch, and we've had some problems with that. Chandler coming out of the backfield's got, butterfingers. I think Tim Jordan has shown that he's your main running back. And I really don't know who is number 2. I would say Ty Chandler would have to be number 2. He did still average 5.8 yards a carry in this last game, even though he didn't get his mitts on it very often. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show, 423-702-6894. I know it's a late call-in show, and I understand it's Thursday night. Now, I understand there's a lot of people that may not have time to do this stuff, don't want to call in, or is agitated with the fact we got beat by Alabama. But that's okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Craig, I remember me at that age. I mean, I couldn't have handled what he's handling. I know that for sure. Um, Bottom line is, Tim Jordan is the running back. He's the man. He's proven it over the last couple 3 weeks. He's really upped his game. He has gotten to the point to where he can really, go where he's told to go instead of just always bouncing everything outside. And he's become really a workhorse. He's got more, poundage, it seems, than the other guys do. He's got a lot of determination, so he's running that ball pretty hard. So I think you got to stick with him as your number one running back. And we got to get Maurer in the game, and if it ain't Maurer, I would go on down the list and pick the next guy. I'd run them around like that. And I'd have just a conversation with Guantanamo and say, hey, look, man, we're going to keep you out of the line of fire for a week or two. And, let you keep practicing, let you keep working, and get you in a better situation in the game. I think he should play some, but he needs to play when the game is already completely out of hand, or he should play when we're up by 3 touchdowns, because you put him in these key situations and we wind up, he makes a critical mistake that adds fuel to the fire if everybody else is talking about it. 423-702-6894, 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. Craig, I don't know about the screens, man. Most of the time a straight-up screen pass won't work in the SEC. You got to disguise it a little bit. The wide receiver screen stuff, I think, is a pretty cool play sometimes. I don't have a problem with that. I would really try to get the ball to Callaway more. I think Callaway, Juwan Jennings is really our possession receiver, when you really need a catch on third down to move the chains. But it seems to me like Callaway and maybe even Tyler Bird and maybe even that other dude might be more firepower on the wide receiver core. Need to run more screenplay. Yeah, I understand that. I ain't a big fan of the standard run-of-the-mill screen. I've seen Alabama and some other guys run some screens that are kind of very disguised well. And that's what you got to do in SEC, because them linebackers will sniff that stuff out. Sometimes the defensive linemen will too, and they'll slide out there and get in it. And sometimes you get them balls picked off. 423-702-6894, 423-702-6894. See how I point to the number? 423-702-6894. This is kind of in reverse, It's hard to do. The brain doesn't really think that way, but, I understand it. Mine's a little exceptional. Let's see. We're looking forward to South Carolina game coming up. I can say that the Vols have a very, very, very good chance of winning this game, because South Carolina, I don't think, scores a lot of points. Matter of fact, let's see what their schedule has been looking like. Looking up South Carolina's schedule. Let's see what kind of points they put on the board this year. North Carolina beat them. They only scored 20 points. They got 72 against Charleston Southern. Well, okay. They scored 23 against Alabama. They scored 14 against Missouri. They scored 24 against Kentucky, 20 against Georgia, 27 against South Carolina. Florida. So they are not, South Carolina is not an offensive juggernaut. They're not going to put a lot of points on the board. I think we probably can hold them under 20 points. And if we can get Maurer in the game and run the football with Tim Jordan, I think we can score enough to beat those guys. So that's kind of my take on that game. Let's see if they list what time of day it's going to be. It's a 4 p.m. start at Tennessee. So that's the best possible time, I think, to play a football game. You know, guys are awake enough and yet not too tired and whatnot. So that's a really good time to play the game. The only problem with a 4 o'clock start, and you watch this at Tennessee, this happens a lot. As nightfall happens, which is going to be right around 7 o'clock, towards the end of this game, the footing is going to get a little slippery because the dew starts to get on that grass just a little bit, and sometimes you can really you can have some key plays go the wrong direction because of footing. And we see it all the time up there in Tennessee when the sun goes down. Yeah, man, we got to get the ball to the receivers. I think that's the key. We got to get the ball to Callaway. We got to get the ball to Tyler Bird. We got to get the ball to, Wood Anderson. Has he made any tremendous plays? Not really, but he gets open, and they're not looking at him so much. I think we tried to throw the ball to Pope the other day, and it seemed like he just dropped it. But I think he was open too there one time. I like getting the ball to the guys coming out of the backfield, and I think the best touchdown maker that we can possibly have is a fake handoff to Chandler, and then once he gets through the line, throw it to him. Or get him on a wheel route or something like that, because a double wheel, as a matter of fact, is pretty dang good. I've seen that happen a couple times. So, that, I like that route, especially with Chandler, because you get it in his hands, he's a touchdown down the field. All right, 423-702-6894. 423-702-6894 on the call-in show. Do we think Jeremy Pruitt's going to keep his job? I would say so. I mean, I haven't seen anything that would really tell me that he's lost control of the team. I mean, I think the team showed some heart at Alabama. They beat Mississippi State. We struggled at the quarterback position. We've been trying to get the new guy in there, and we can't do it. So that would be the problem that I see with that deal. But, hey, you never know. It's Tennessee Vols football. We're going to sign off on the call-in show. It's been kind of a bleak kind of a night. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Sorry that we didn't have a chance to do this right after the game when your thoughts were fresh. But at least I wanted to get my recap of the situation out there so that people could tell, what my thoughts were on the game, because I know that everybody is extremely interested in what it is that I think about this stuff. So we're on record, and, we'll post this on YouTube also. So we sure do appreciate you guys for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you after the South Carolina game. And we'll do it immediately after the game Saturday night, so that everybody's fresh to be able to talk about our great win that we're going to have with South Carolina coming in. See you later.